What is going on, family? Hopefully you're doing absolutely wonderful. Welcome to another video here on the channel. Now, I know this is a live, but this is going to be a little bit more structured because my software for actually recording the video just did not come to fruition. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make sure that everyone understands this Liberation Day tomorrow, the Trump tariffs, and what we've got going forward. So if you're here for that, awesome, amazing. I'm still looking forward to talking with you. Now, if you're here live on this live video, I'll be checking the chat periodically, but make sure to tap into our Stock Sermon Sundays every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we go over the entirety of the market for that week. All right. So with that being said, let's jump into it. I do have my IG live as well. So I'll be tuning in kind of some after hours after we get done with this video. All right. Let me know down in the comments any questions or concerns that you may have. Also, if you do want to join Leverage University, we do have that available, which is our Discord platform for entrepreneurs and thought leaders, those that want to grow, those that want to prosper, those that want to be surrounded by individuals that are like-minded. They want to get out of the rat race of just general society thinking. All right. So that will be linked down below in the comments after this stream has been completed. And we'll look forward to you coming in. All right. Let me know what videos you would like me to record as well as we go through these series on YouTube. All right. So, hey, IG fam, what's going on, YouTube fam? Let's jump into it today. All right. All righty. Let's jump into it. Let me share screen. And there we go. All right. So the first thing that we want to understand is what is Liberation Day in general. Okay. So as we know, people has a lot of questions, but let's just go to our trusty old Google here. And it is decided that Trump has termed this Liberation Day essentially as a promise, okay? A promise to roll out a set of tariffs on taxes from imports of other countries that will liberate the United States from having to essentially rely on other countries and forcing the hand of tech companies and other companies that are outsourcing their service, their products to get cheaper products and whatnot, and building their company elsewhere. So he's forcing those taxes to bring and import goods and parts and things of that nature, and saying, hey, you want to do business in America? You need to be doing business in America. Otherwise, you're going to be taxed. And as we know, companies typically bring those taxes back down to consumers. So it's like a chain, a reaction here that we have. And that is supposed to be on par for tomorrow. So my objective for today on today's video is to make sure that you understand how they manipulate the news, okay? And we do that by looking at the charts. So a lot of people understand what's going on. Some people don't understand what's going on. And they're just like, I'm just going to throw my hands up and just see what happens. If my portfolio tanks, cool, whatever. If it goes up, great, I knew it, all those kind of things, right? Those are all emotional-based responses, okay? So what we do here as investors or investor-minded people, entrepreneurial-minded people, is that we make logical decisions, okay? So let's look first at our fear and greed index, as we always do, okay? And I start off with my fundamental analysis, okay? We're in extreme fear. Extreme fear tells us that that should be a buying opportunity, okay? A buying opportunity. So when you're looking at the stock market and you're looking at assets and you're like, Brian, ain't nobody buying no home right now, okay? People are buying stuff everywhere, all the time, okay? Business has to continuously run. So when people fear monger and say, no one's buying homes, no one's investing in coaching, no one is going to buy that thing, no one's doing this, that, it's like, well, that's your opinion based off of your situation. So we have a lot of opinion-based fears that are in the market. Now, I will say that this situation is slightly different than before when we had fear mongering in kind of Trump 1.0. Trump 1.0 was in 2018 tariffs. And I'll show you when we get on the charts how that looks and how this can potentially be a little bit more drastic. Okay. A little bit more drastic. Okay. So let's, this always does this, always. All right. So there's your definition of Liberation Day. He has decided that this is termed that to free the country and to make America great again. All right. I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with how do we leverage this? How do we make money from this? How do you protect your portfolios? How do you even get prepared for, Brian, what if I don't have the bandwidth to even think about this right now? Like, this isn't even in my context. I got my business, I've got my career, I've got kids, I've got my own stuff going on. I can't be concerned with what's going on up in the White House, what's going on in DC, and what that man's doing. Okay. I understand that's a lot of people's sentiments. It's like, I don't even have the bandwidth to even think about what that is. Okay. That is okay. What my objective for everyone on these public platforms is for you to understand, okay, what is coming and what to prepare. What if someone told you before, maybe you had the inside scoop, that COVID was coming? What if someone told you that this looks very similar, as I've been telling my community, for 2008, 2007, 2018, right? 2022, right? What if someone told you and you actually listened this time? That's the objective, because if people can understand that, then they can be at ease to say, okay, what goes down must come back up. What goes up must come back down. It's the nature of gravity. Okay. So, with that being said, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Okay. Now, if you don't think it's going to be okay, we need to get some work done and become solution oriented. And that's more of the psychology piece. All right. We good? If you're live, hit me in the comments and I appreciate it. I'll check them towards the end of our video. All right. So let's jump into the charts. The charts are where the money's made, as I always say. And I'm going to give some levels on the charts where we have opportunity and what you should expect. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to go into a monthly chart, and the monthly chart tells us a couple of things. Okay. So when you're asking the question, what's going to happen? Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? All right. The chart will tell you ideally what has the potential to happen. Okay. I want you to look at the 2018 tariffs last time Trump came into office for the first time. Okay. Right here, right there, and 2020. Okay. Now, as I always have been doing, I've been going back to 2008 situation. Straight up, started to have a little bit of financial uncertainty, right? People, cost of living. This was obviously the housing crisis. The banks were doing folks wrong. People didn't know. They were taking out, loans that they had no business being approved for, stuff like that. So this is what can happen when you have that situation. So let's jump into a little bit of a, let's see, index uncertainty tariffs. Let's see if it pulls up that graph. Where is it? Tariffs 2018 versus 2022. Excuse me, 2025. Man, wish it was 2022 again. Let's see if it'll pull up that graph. If not, I will put it inside of the Discord. But there is a graph that I was looking for. If I can't find it, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'll keep it moving. But essentially, it's an uncertainty graph that shows that in 2018, there was uncertainty when Trump was coming into office, based off of the fear of a recession. And the graph now shows that that uncertainty is even heightened from then. Okay, so it's even heightened from then. How many of y'all remember when I was talking about that situation where there is a inverted yield curve? St. Louis Fed 10-year minus 2-year. Okay, so I'm just going to remind folks that if you've been watching me for a minute, I've been warning of this, showing you this graph, that this is the possibility of what could happen. Okay, remember this graph. If you haven't, okay, I'll do a quick overview. This black line, this is all the way from 1980 back over here to the left. Okay, this black line in the middle is where I want you to focus. Okay, black line in the middle is where I want you to focus. These gray areas that you see, these gray, light gray shaded areas, are when a quote unquote recession or a crash or a situation ended up happening. So what happens is this yield curve begins to come uninverted, meaning it's curving back to the upside above that black line, recession. Back above that black line, recession. Back above that black line, recession in early 90s. There is the dot-com bubble back deep and then uninverts. There's 2000, 2001. Gets underneath that black line. There's 2007, 2008. Look at where we are right here. So when people ask me and say, well, how do you know this is different? And how you start gathering data that history repeats itself. So when these Trump tariffs come in, I'm hearing a lot of talk about, oh, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. It's like, you can buy the dip. That's fine. This is not financial advice because it's a public platform. But based off of history, okay, you better be prepared for more dips. So if you buy this dip right here, we're in correction territory, you better be prepared to buy even more dips. Okay. And that's essentially what the charts tell us. So if you buy the dip here, you better be prepared for it to drop another potential on the SPY, another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 points. If you're not prepared for that, then just wait and dollar cost average, put it on $5 a day, $5 a week, $10 a week, just turn it on auto and don't even think about it. Okay. But if someone loading the boat right here, meaning they've got 5, 10, 15, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, and they're unloading their savings account and buying this big dip right here, I would be careful. That's all I'll say. Okay. So again, what I'm expecting from tomorrow. Let's answer the question. Let's go on the monthly on SPY. We see here that we have a big push down on that monthly candle, which is pretty much given back into correction territory and given back the entirety of the election move. Okay. This red candle that you see right there. Okay. Now, what should we typically expect? Okay. What happens is this is called an engulfing candle. This means this candle completely engulfs these last couple of months of a candle, and we have a situation like this. Okay. So that whole candle engulfed these last 4 months. Okay. So all month of March gave back everything from November back into there's end of October of last year. Okay. That is a sign. Okay. That is a sign. Now, after a big candle like this, typically you don't open up the next month and just start falling. That is not typically what happens. If you still don't understand the charts, we have resources inside of Leverage University, or you can message me or message our team on our DMs. My IG and everything is linked on the screen as you see, and we'll see how we can direct you from there, okay, of how to analyze this a little bit better. Now I go into a weekly chart, okay, and I can see here that we have a couple other things. We had a double top, okay, right there, a top, and then a top where we couldn't get above. Two tops typically shows a positive resistance where then we have aggression to the downside. All right. So all that is happening to kind of round out here is we are starting to make lower highs. Brian, what are you talking? What does that mean? How does that answer the question about what's going to happen tomorrow? Get to the point. Any pops, okay, are getting rejected. That means if you see a green day in the market, okay, that does not mean we are extremely recovering just yet. So I'll give you a bullish and a bearish scenario. I want you to look at this, okay? We are making lower highs, so that means that people need to start learning how to trade or invest when stuff is coming down. Most people just ride the wave and they're like, oh, buy calls. Oh, just keep investing. Oh, everything's going up, right? I don't have to worry about anything. Oh, that's just a little dip. It'll go back up tomorrow. And now what you're seeing is for some people for the first time, maybe actively in the markets, is that you see a green day and the next day, next week, whatever, we're back down again. Okay. Because we're making lower highs. Okay. This high is lower than this high. This high is lower than this high. And then we're making lower lows. Okay. So what you should expect that we need to clear back above 580, 582, to truly get back bullish if possible. Otherwise, every pop that you see is going to get shorted for right now, at least. So just say Trump tomorrow, he speaks at 4 p.m. Eastern at the end of the markets. There's probably going to be a little bit of a pop, a little bit of a squeeze, maybe in anticipation of being good news, right? But if you see my definition on, or if you see my title on this video, it says bull traps as well. So Brian, well, what if I see a big green candle and we squeeze back up to there like that, and I see, and man, we're back. It could be a bull trap, and we reject right back down again. Okay. So keep that in the back of your mind, is that, okay, anytime we pop, I can buy some dips, but let me not be excited just yet when things are going back up. Cool. I'm excited that I'm positive or that I bought the dip, but let me expect lower. Let me expect more. Let me get excited for more downside. Because if you don't have that mindset, you're going to be in hope mode. As I tell my community and clients, hope mode or having hope as a strategy, right? That is not the best way to approach the markets, because you're going to be like, please, please, please go up. Please, please, please. I do not want to see a red day. Please, please, please go up. Please go up. Please go up. Right? Please do not give us another 2022. Please do not give us another 2008. You cannot approach these things that way, because if you do, then you're not going to be prepared for the opportunities that are arising. Okay. So does that make sense for everybody online? Let me check the chat and see if anybody's in here live. If it makes sense for those that are rewatching, please comment down below if you've heard this from me multiple times. So let me give a day trade plan for SPY and give some quick levels. This isn't supposed to be a full live because my other software wasn't working for a quick video. So tomorrow I want to watch 565 as a level on SPY. Okay, 565. And a couple of things that we're doing here on SPY is that we are forming somewhat of a double bottom. Okay, bottom, bottom. That is a bullish sign, and we're somewhat forming higher lows here, very similar to what we did last time when we trended up, trended up, trended up, trended up, trended up, and all it did was get to its level and then liquidity grab at the top. All right, they were just waiting for that level. All the bears waiting for that level, bull trap, slam it right back down. Gave up the whole grind back up to end up right back down. Okay. So ideally, I'm watching two levels tomorrow to see where Trump may send it and to see where the market may be going. Okay. Ideally, we need to get back above 565 and truly get back above 565. If you can look over here to my left, that 565 is a rejection, 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 and then it stopped at about 562. Okay. So if we can get back above 565, maybe we can squeeze back up into that 570 level and then maybe get a little bit of a short squeeze that might end up being something like this. Okay. Maybe a little bit of a short squeeze, something like that. Okay. But it's got to be aggressive where it gets almost extremely past that 570, and then we see that 570 turn into a hold, which I don't really expect personally, at least for right now. Okay. But I am having an open mind that we could see a little pop like that. And if I remove these lines, okay, is this somewhat, it's ugly, but is this somewhat of a maybe head and shoulders? It's not as clean, right? Because there's really not a neckline right here at 558 maybe, but could that be somewhat of a head and shoulders? Stops at, 570, and then we reject aggressively back down. Okay. So with that being said, expect, in summary, expect higher, but keep your mind that we are still bearish, right? We're still forming lower highs, still forming lower lows. So my game plan, and for my community and live trading and my clients and people that are learning from me personally, and if you also have other mentors or other people that you're watching and they're not telling you the truth, okay, you can buy the dip, but understand that there's a possibility for lower. Just understand there's a possibility for lower. That's all you got to keep in the back of your mind. So every time I see a big reject and someone's like, what is going on? I'm like, that's the mindset I told you to have. Expect lower and get excited if it takes off. Okay. That will keep you in a sane mind. All right. So there's SPY. I'm not going to go over every single stock per se because that is inside of Leverage University. I'll update everybody inside of the watch list tomorrow morning. But if you keep an eye on SPY and then correlate that with our respective stocks that we like to trade or invest into, such as NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple, so on and so forth, then we can understand where things might want to go. Okay. So 565, keep an eye on that. And then 568, 567 at the high. And then on the downside, if we fail back underneath this 558, then we could get a little bit weak. So if it breaks this trend line and I start seeing it get underneath that trend line like that, then we'll look at some puts and take it right back down. Okay. All right. Everybody good there? We good? We good? All right. I'll cover QQQ because I know a lot of folks like to trade QQQ as well, which is the tech index here. Okay. QQQ, in my opinion, another bear flag forming, trend line lower highs, and also a big rejection point back up here that it may want to try to squeeze back up into, which is about 480. Okay. So I'll look for that as well, that it has the possibility to squeeze up $6-7 back up to 480, 479 again. But as you can see, it's got to get through this 474 level. So watch 474. If it starts to get bullish above 474, then if you are comfortable with it, you can take it up like that. Or you can just wait and let it push up into there, see where we get a little rejection, and then we can slam it right back down. Cool. All right. Those are my ideas for ideally tomorrow. I will cover Tesla because Tesla does have earnings, not earnings, excuse me, but does have delivery numbers tomorrow. So if you want to check my facts, if you want to check just something to see if we are knowing what we're talking about, watch Tesla tomorrow. If you see Tesla tanking, you know their delivery numbers came out absolutely horrible, which I'm expecting. Even though Teslas have been on the market, a lot of bad news in the market here in Vegas and whatnot, and other cities around the country, people are buying up Teslas because they're fairly cheap for the leases. They're probably the best deal on the market right now to get a Tesla lease for $200, $300, $400 for a Model Y, right? That's a steal. So their delivery numbers, though, have been absolutely awful and they've been missing earnings. So do not be surprised if Tesla starts to fail below this 270, watch 270, and then watch the market. Tesla could get aggressive back down if it does have poor delivery numbers tomorrow. And this just could be a big bear flag to go lower, right? So Tesla on watch. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to trade it, but you can see that little bear flag that's forming right there. Tesla on watch to see just how it moves and then the overall market based off of Trump. If you are trading yourself, trade safely. If you're trading with a group, right, be successful, do your thing. If you're trading with us, awesome day today. Congrats, everybody. Just wanted to show, and then I'll leave y'all be. I'll leave y'all be. All right. So we had that idea and we took a day trade signal today. Okay. When I do mine, I'm in live trading. I gave this idea on Google that worked out. I put the chart, put exactly what we are entering in. I put my average cost that I'm in. I'm putting the resistance level as well. Okay. And then I gave another idea for IWM, gave the exact contracts. Okay. For puts, gave the chart. So as I'm teaching the charts, you know what it looks like and what idea. And then there's the follow-up chart of how it actually plays out. So we can go back. There's Google. And then there's the final Google. And then there's the final IWM right there, entered at 201, went all the way down to roughly around 197. So massive trade, 300+% for some client, for some of our community members, 100% for some of our community members. Just awesome day. Congrats, 25% there. IWM Google. David, 300%, but he took it out at 100% right there. And then Dreama, awesome job on Google, right? So there is a formula. This is not gibberish. This is not guessing. This is a formula that we have to make executive decisions Man, y'all don't know what you don't know which way it's going. Actually, we can react off of levels, and we do, based off of structures, based off of price action, based off of levels. You don't know if it's going lower. You don't see this big bear flag here. Until that bear flag breaks and we break back above really 494 on QQQ, it's not going anywhere. It could even pop all the way up to 500 and I'd still short it right back down. It's still not cleared these resistance levels. And that's what a bull trap is. Okay. So I know your system is fruit. Yeah. Appreciate it, Jeff. There are rules to this game. And when you follow the rules and you try to learn and you understand the economic sentiment, you can be at ease. So when I see the news in the morning and I'm passing by, I'm like, oh, yeah, Trump tariffs, fear mongering, it'll pop, it'll fade. I already know the charts. I'm not listening to y'all. Right? Or I need to see it pop. Great. It can continue to go up. Great. Y'all bought the dip. Cool. Be prepared for lower. Just like this NVIDIA. Someone bought the 104 dip, went all the way to 121. It's right back to 103. Someone's like, what in the world is going on? I'm tired of this stock market. It ain't working for me. Get on the charts. Get on the charts. All right. That is all for me, folks. That is all for me. Thank y'all so much, as always, for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. Rewatch this if you need to on YouTube. The software that I normally create the quick videos on was acting up a little bit. So I went ahead and recorded it on our live. All right. Perfect. Yes. Good night. People don't like Musk. A lot of negative headwinds on Tesla. Thanks for the midnight stock play. Y'all are so welcome. Talk to y'all soon. Peace, love, and blessings. Y'all have a